This is about to change everything. After this past weekend's massive performance, the Bills might have a breakout star on their hands, so let's talk about it all right here. Hello everybody, welcome to Bills Digest. I'm your host Anthony Senicar, and we are officially halfway through the Bills season. There's only one issue. 73% of you guys who are watching this video right now are not subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, join the army here at Bills Digest to stay in touch with all your latest Bills news, because we got you guys covered from wall to wall. And like I said, guys, this could change everything. After a breakout performance this past weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tyrone Shavers looks like the Bills might be having a star on the outside boundary, finishing off the day with 4 for 5, 90 yards, and 1 touchdown. In a game where he was the number one target for Josh Allen on the boundary, had that deep touchdown late in the game that helped secure the victory, and kind of just took the left side boundary receiver position by the skin of its neck and never let go of it. After Keon Coleman got benched, or there were reports early Friday night that Keon Coleman would be benched, then he did get benched on Sunday, Tyrone Shavers was propelled into the starting lineup, and he took full advantage of his opportunity, and it looks like that he might be exactly what the Bills needed. Leading the way in his snap share at 54%, up there with Khalil Shakir, tied for the first most. It seems as though Tyrone Shavers might be the Bills' quote-unquote number one outside boundary receiver, and he took full grasp of that this past weekend against Tampa. The big touchdown, which was massive, and an elite separator, leading the way with all receivers in target separation in Week 11. The answer might have been within the building, and it looks like Tyrone Shavers might be that guy. Obviously, Shavers has been on the team for the whole past year, but he obviously had his big breakout this season against Tampa Bay, leading the way. He also had a very good game against Miami, another game in which the Bills' passing attack was looking pretty solid. Someone who could play special teams as well as receiver, the flexibility of Shavers, the height at 6'4", a good separator, which we saw as he led the way this past weekend in all receivers. The signs are there pointing to Shavers taking over that number one role for the Bills. And even guys within the building are taking recognition of this. OC Joe Brady speaking on Tyrone Shavers. He was our player of the game yesterday. He was such a critical element to our success yesterday, and I couldn't be more happier for him. Well, the reason for that, look at some of these plays. Just a quick out, boom, catch it, and go. Again, Shavers is gaining trust with Josh Allen, and that trust was on full display in his single touchdown catch of the day. Josh scrambles, Shavers sees what's going on, boom, sprints down the field, puts up his hand, Josh trusts him, puts it on a dot, and we have ourselves a 40-plus yard touchdown. Again, the trust is growing with Josh and Shavers. You can see on full display that Shavers is understanding what Josh likes as Josh is scrambling, goes upfield, turns, and gives Josh an opportunity to make a big splash play. Look at that. Boom. Out route, sees what's going on, goes upfield, and Josh sees him, trusts him, puts it on a dot. Again, in zone coverage, senses a zone, goes out, sits there, gets the ball, cuts upfield. This is what the Bills have been lacking on that outside boundary. Obviously, Shavers is reading zones a lot better. You are seeing the growth in his game. Josh is trusting him a lot more. Joe Brady understands that he is going to be a significant change for the Bills offense. He is a boundary corner now who is 6'4", kind of the Keon Coleman build, but is getting separation, and that is very, very key. And it is a full circle moment for Shavers, obviously. The game that earned him a 53-man roster spot and the game that landed him national media attention and hopefully an increased role this passing attack on the same team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously in preseason, Shavers was on the bubble, had a phenomenal final game of the preseason with a one-handed touchdown grab against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and led the way in all receivers that game. And then this past weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had himself a breakout performance with the 4-for-5, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Shavers might be the key to getting this Bills passing attack going. The offense looked completely different with Shavers as your number one boundary guy compared to that of Keon Coleman. While I still have faith in Keon, Shavers brings more to the game and more versatility. Shavers has worked his butt off to get to the position he has. Where Keon was kind of handed that number one role, Shavers has been chipping away and working at it. McDermott made a comment post-game after the Tampa Bay game that went something along the lines of, you have to work. The guys who work hard are getting the rewards. And that seems to be a nod at Keon kind of getting handed the role and Shavers working for it. You are seeing in that touchdown clip, Josh is gaining trust in Shavers. Shavers is understanding where to sit in these zones. He is understanding if the pocket collapses, Josh likes his guys to go and play backyard football, and that was on full display in that touchdown throw. As well as that, it is pretty obvious now with the snap share that Khalil Shakir is still going to be the number one option, but it looks like Tyrone Shavers is going to be the number one boundary guy going forward for the Bills. And we banged on the table all trade deadline. And before the trade deadline, we need a separator. Well, it could be interesting to see if the answer was within the building with Tyrone Shavers as he led the way this past weekend separation. Let's see if he continues to build on this Tampa Bay performance. I am very excited to see how this pans out for Shavers. He's got the height. He's got the speed. Coming out of high school, he's a 4-star recruit. So obviously the skill set was there. It reminds me a lot of the Khalil Shakir, which was before Khalil Shakir had his breakout last year or 2 years ago. He was on the roster bubble and he had a potential to be cut when the Bills had the Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, so on and so forth. He was on the bubble there and he worked his way to become to where he is right now. Maybe the same stories is happening with Shavers, where he was on the bubble, he's working towards it, and maybe he is going to be another guy who Josh can trust, because it looks like the trust is gaining there. And going on for the rest of the season, maybe Shavers will be the key aspect that opens up the Bills' passing game. No lazy routes, no taking off plays like Keon did. Shavers is going hard, blocking hard. If you notice on the Ty Johnson touchdown, Shavers was running down the field trying to catch up blocks. On the Jimbo touchdown, a great block from Shavers to get that wheel route going. He is a guy who gets in, does the dirty work, blocks for his running backs, blocks for his quarterback, does the routes that need to be had, takes no plays off, and is dedicated to his craft. I am very excited to see how much more Tyrone Shavers can develop, because this could be massive for the Bills going forward, having a boundary guy next to Gabe Davis or Joshua Palmer who the Bills can trust and rely upon. And it looks like, based on the snap share, based off of Joe Brady's comments, and just based off of understanding where Josh wants you at in that touchdown, all the signs are pointing to Shavers being a crucial part to this Bills offense. Let's see if he builds upon this performance this coming Thursday against the Houston Texans. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think. Are you guys excited about Shavers? Do you guys think that he might be the answer to the Bills' lack of receiver depth and receiver play? Would you guys rather have Keon back in there, or do you fully trust that the Shavers hype train is going to take off? And if you're not on it, just understand, you are going to be left behind. Let me know down below in the comments. Love to hear from you guys as always. On top of that, if you are not subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We just passed 1.4 thousand. So again, every little bit helps. As always, guys, like I always say, guys, if you are not subscribed, subscribe to stay in touch, stay informed, and go Bills.